Hi, Aamer. Thank you so much for speaking with us at Urban Asian in your role and about your time working on the new Hunger Games movie that is releasing tomorrow in theaters worldwide. So, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
Malika.
yes. So just kind of jumping right in, how did you get the role? Was it an audition process? Had you kind of watched the films ahead of times, the entire film franchise? How did that work?
Just auditioned from just got the audition from my manager. It was pretty much like, you know, when I went with him, it was I think it was just my second audition with him, and it was like you see Hunger Games on your email, and you're like, oh my God, like, this is I mean, I think you I work hard on all of them, and you should work hard on all of them, but maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit more on that one. And I read, I read the book pretty much, like I read about half of it for the audition, and I was like so ready, and I thought I kind of shit the bed actually, but on the audition, but I got it, and here we are, and yeah.
So before kind of going into the audition, had you read the book, which is the prequel to the entire Hunger Games franchise? Had you seen the previous Hunger Games movies or read those books? Did you kind of have any premonition going into the audition of what you wanted to play?
Yeah, like I watched for during after or for the audition, I watched the four movies again. And yeah, it was unbelievable. They are so it's not only just like entertainment, like, but the characters are so strong, and kind of they have a parallel to, the world, and there's themes of the world that, you of course you hope things like that would never happen, but sometimes you look around and you're like, maybe it's not as crazy as you may think. And they say art imitates life, or life imitates art. And I think this one is, yes, kind of teetering the line of that to some degree. Of course, not really, but yeah.
Yeah, and kind of jumping into that, can you explain exactly who you play? What is the name of your character and what is their trajectory, throughout the film and how does that go? Because, in the books, there is, a difference between the actual games and the rest of the plot of the book. So what exactly does your character do in regards to both the games and the entirety of the plot?
Okay, so my character is Felix Ravenstill.
Okay.
He is the president's son in the old Pan Am, and yeah, he is quite a little bit snooty. He's a little bit privileged, and you kind of, I guess for him, like the difference between him and some other characters, in the film. I mean, I guess especially the tributes, like you get to really see the stark difference of how, how, I guess, how they were treated, how the tributes are treated, and versus how the men how Pan Am kind of lives their life. And I guess especially for me, my character is probably like the epitome of the pretentiousness of the capital. um just like the things that comes out of his mouth. I would, yeah, it's just really kind of, really, really kind of not the best individual, but nature, nurture, kind of how you get there. Yeah, nurture. This is definitely a nurture for him. Yeah.
Yeah, and also kind of having read the book myself, Felix is that type of character that you really see him embody who the capital represents, that kind of arrogance per se, that confidence in having the money and the luxury and having all the privileges that he has. So was that difficult for you to kind of, embody as a character and kind of play into that a little bit?
I don't think so. I would definitely, I mean, I played, I played a lot. I definitely did some exercises for myself. I was like, I'm gonna go into a Gucci store. I'm gonna see what, I'm gonna act like I own the place and see. kind of what it's like to walk into that. But I think at the end of the day, when you're working, it's just like you just kind of have to go full force into that, and you know, you can't think of the kind of what, oh well, how was I doing it there? What was I thinking? Unless you're just gonna kind of freeze up maybe. But definitely would love to actually be like him, right? um, yeah. I guess Panem does in the future does get way more kind of crazy with the luxury. Yeah, it's still luxury, but not as luxury as what it is in the future.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is definitely a stark difference between the prequels capital and the capital kind of created during the four Hunger Games movies. Especially just in the stark difference seen between fashion and the love for the games and the games themselves. So that is definitely really interesting to see that growth.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There is, I think that's probably what, what I mean, yeah, behind it, like it just how was the Hunger Games made, and
Mhm.
how this kind of extreme world came to be, and like I definitely was interested and am intrigued to, I would be as a fan, like to see kind of what that is,
Yeah.
like where how, especially that it's so grounded in reality relatively. I feel like the Hunger Games films, like yeah, where yeah, how did this kind of happen? And because it's not like some super out there space film, it's
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and definitely getting the context, through the character of Lucy Gray is really important to then understanding Katniss Everdeen. Even though those films came beforehand, kind of having that context is then helpful for all of us fans to kind of get into it again a little bit more, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Really, yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry, what was the thing? Yeah, no, definitely. I think, yeah, Lucy Gray's character is unbelievable. I think Rachel did such a good job.
Mhm.
Um, don't know if there is anything to say about that, but the Katniss, and I don't know about all this stuff. But no, there's definitely some interesting parallels maybe for people to
Yeah, and
look at.
kind of
Yeah.
going off of that, like, what would you say are the parallels that really would draw in viewers between Lucy Gray and Katniss Everdeen? Because we've seen the trailer, there are so many of those parallels when it comes to the bow that they both do, and the song that they sing as well, "The Hanging Tree." So, what are some of those parallels that you kind of saw through the script between both of those characters that fans can really see in the film as well?
Yeah, I think Francis, the director, touched on this in other interview. He was like, um, Lucy Gray kind of uses herself a lot more. Her presence, her stage presence, her authenticness, her sexuality, versus Katniss is more of just kind of like, she doesn't want to be seen by the cameras. She wants to be she just wants to kind of be back home,
Yeah.
at 12. And yeah, just like, people when people try to prop her up, she's like, I don't want to be that person, you know. I don't want to be the symbol of hope and whatnot, but for Lucy, it's she's very much, you know, willing to kind of say, here I am, this is who I am, and I'll sing, if you're gonna put me on stage in front of everyone, hey, damn it, I'll sing, like I'll show you guys. Yeah, whether it's for the right reasons, it's getting, you know, picked to die, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and kind of, moving into the filming process itself, what did your days on set look like? In the trailer, we don't see too much of the mentors other than Tom Blythe's character really doing a lot of stunts, but did you do a lot of your own stunts? What did that kind of entail in that preparation?
Um, for the mentors, I don't think we did many stunts.
Yeah.
Maybe a few people, maybe, but I think the tributes, fighting, that must have been, that was a grueling process for them, for for weeks, months, perhaps, like, getting on wires and, stunt coordinator and, yeah, I personally didn't really do much stunts in that regard, but, just, yeah, just seeing them kind of, seeing and hearing like their day to day for the stunts was pretty awesome. I was a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, like, you guys got to do so much. Like, we just show up, look pretty, like, which is great too. But they really got the grunt of it. Um, yeah, I mean, we shot in some amazing, beautiful locations
Yeah.
in Italy and Poland. Like, we shot in the battle. It's called Battle of the Nations. It was where Napoleon surrendered in
Yeah.
his final battle. It was like this ginormous hall. It's like unbelievable just to be like, just to get to be there, and even in Poland and in Berlin, and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it really sounds as if for the mentors at least, for the first time on the actor's side as well as the audience side, we're getting to see mentors other than, just for Katniss. The first four movies, we really only saw Haymitch and Effie to a sort of extent, but in this film, we get to see mentors from all of the different districts helping out their tributes. So, was it difficult for you kind of on set to come up with different characteristics for your character's personality? Or were you kind of given that, context in the script itself?
For personality's sake, or for the personalities of each character.
Yeah, and kind of building upon that, right? Because
Yeah.
it might be difficult to kind of build on it immediately in the scene if you haven't seen other mentors, in previous films before. So was that something that was provided to you either through the audition or when you signed the film, or was that something you kind of had to build upon as the scenes went on?
I think, well, there's a lot of stuff in the book that you could use,
Okay.
that you could play with and use. Some of us had more than others to kind of, I mean, to get to use. But I would say that Francis just did a really good job of relatively letting people like just play
Mhm.
and not like he, he's not super rigid on one certain thing. Like, no, you have to do this way or whatever. So it was really, I think there's a lot of creative liberty with the way you're doing it. But I mean, right, yeah, like the writing is everything, right? Like, it's all relatively, it's all on the page, and that's kind of your job as an actor to kind of bring something to it and hope that it's working, and hope that it kind of fits the world that they chose you for. It's like, I kind of think of it sometimes like, oh, well, it's luck of the draw, where I mean, there's so many ways you can play any character, and
Mhm.
then it's like, well, this just happened to be the one that they that aligned with what they were looking for. Okay, who knows, if you did it a completely different way, maybe it wouldn't have been in the favor of this role. But yeah, I think everyone just did such a good job. I mean, it was unbelievable. You're gonna see it. Playfulness and the snootiness and I mean, there's like, I think we probably had like over a hundred cast members, and like, named people, like, or characters with names who, I think that's another, yeah, there were characters with names, not just like, you know clerk, or like, the
Yeah.
bathroom, or like, someone, yeah. It's great. We met so many amazing people, and they all killed it. I don't know if that answers the question. I just kind of went on a tangent, but yeah.
No, it definitely did. And it kind of leads me into my last question of, there's huge stars in this film, including Viola Davis. What was that experience like, kind of working with them on set? Did you get any, tips or advice from them while you were going through scenes? What was that process like?
Um, not per se. I mean, Viola is just like, she was so nice, and she was so such a good actor. Like, one day on set, I was watching her from the outside. I wasn't in the scene. I
Yeah.
just came. It was just like, wow, like, just coming with something like amazing and just executing, going for it. It's just um, it was just amazing. Like I guess for an insecure actor, then sometimes it's like you can't let your brain get the best of you. But like just like the way her and Peter are just able to do it, you know,
Yeah.
immediately put like what are like the work you did and the character you built. It's just like let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it done. You get it done in like 3, 4 takes. For me, I would, with how many lines, she has. It's just like I don't know how she's able to do it. Definitely learned so much just seeing them. Um, yeah, definitely. It was definitely kind of great, amazing, scary, and amazing experience. Yeah, it's like hey Milo, he's like hi. It's like, "Oh." Yeah.
Your experience, in the film sounds amazing. And I'm very excited to go watch it. I'm watching it on Friday evening, so I'm very pumped to go watch the film. And I hope that, you had a great experience kind of filming the film and seeing the response to it as well. So thank you so much for speaking with us today about your experience in the new Hunger Games movie.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.